Hi everyone, let's continue listen to the truth.
The truth that the temple people were prevented from knowing or reading. In fact, there is an important matter that all evil people are afraid of. If they know, they will not be able to live. 7. And because of dying from a heart full of sin, when he was revived, with his heart while being a Dhammakaya monk, still and strong, with good merit, he did not remember the things that he did to anyone after that, which became the power of the sinful side, without realizing when, and the principles of O1's teachings. Forgetting all the past mistakes, causing O2 to not remember what he had done to O6, which became a matter of having to be subservient to O6 and doing everything he told him to do, until he became a tool of the sinful side. When O6 saw that O2 had changed back to the way he was, he came to attack O2 again, causing O2 to have to obey him again. This made O1 very sad and hurt. And he saw the future of the group, that O1 would never be able to return to be the son of Dharma for the people of the world again, because he was certain that even if he saved O2's life, he could not change who he was. How could he have lost to O6? If O6 brought up the same thing that he had lost to him to demand it again, he lost to him again. But O2 found a way to correct the mistakes he made in the past. He tried to use his rights to lead the group to pray to return to the path of following Luang Pu, Luang Fa, and Yai to reach the highest level of Dharma, as everyone hears every week at the beginning of the month, without thinking about the past mistakes he made again and not making the same mistakes again. Not losing his spirit and not getting involved in anything else except correcting the mistakes. While O6 was quietly working on the legal side in order to take over the temple for himself, because he didn't have to be at the temple to hold the reins and give orders, with fake advice that he was O1, and had O1's big secretary and P. The one to manage and bring donated money as needed. He didn't have to do it himself. He thought he was smart. If he was there, people would be suspicious and not come to make merit. The money didn't go to the temple. What was needed was not there. He wanted to build a place to train monks worth tens of thousands. I used to want to do it at Cal Q said. But O1 cut in front and went to build the building of the Lord Conqueror of Mara. O6 carried a grudge with him. This time, O6 deceived everyone that it was O1 who gave permission to build at the place of O1's beloved fish pond in front of the chapel. He must have smirked with satisfaction this time, deceiving the temple people to build the building for him, because when the time came, he would be able to easily hand it over to Islam when he took over the temple. He didn't have to build it himself. And when he let people see that O6 was at Bang Ban, he wasn't at the temple, so he had O1's big secretary create an event and release news that O1 was at the temple. Furthermore, Kru Cho said that O1 was locked up in the temple, even though it was impossible for anyone to lock up a Dhammakaya follower and an expert in Dhammakaya knowledge like O1, who was a still dead leader who could fly and walk in the air. But Kru Cho still believed this and told his thousands of followers to believe it as well. This logic really doesn't work. When people are fooled into believing that O1 is at the temple, they can make merit and the money goes to the temple. Kathan also came in large numbers. But O1 did not give up trying to come back to maintain the merit for his children and the large group to return to the traces of the path to the ultimate Dharma. Even if he could not have enough merit to go to the ultimate Dharma, he would gain a lot of merit and let him get out of the original delusion. It depends on the temple executive committee to have enough courage to do as O1 told him to do, which would be against the guidelines and orders that O6 said are specified. And O1 found that even though the temple executive committee knew the truth about O6, they did not dare to do as O1 told them to do. Did not dare to contradict or displease O6 because they were afraid of his influence that still had over everyone. O1 was like rowing a boat in a basin, going round and round like this. having to constantly heal and maintain the merit of his children and the large group. but could not fix the delusion in the hearts of his children and the large group as long as the temple executive committee did not dare to announce the truth about '06 for everyone to know. Especially about Zoom. It seemed like they would let it fade away on its own because after the COVID situation was over, the temple would stop using Zoom on its own. But the infatuation did not disappear from the hearts of those who still thought that it was '01's. And these people would not listen to anyone except the central government. It became a trap for themselves because they believed the central government. Just '01 told '06 to go far away from the temple and not let him come back. He ordered it since 2015 during the Buddhist Lent. Until now, no one dared to follow '01's order. The temple executive committee did not see the merit and sin in the details that '01 saw. And what '06 had done and was going to do next, '01 also knew about the Dhammakaya knowledge. But no one in the temple executive committee agreed to follow '01's order. And in 2023, there was only information that they left '06 like this. But the information in 2024 clearly showed that '02 had become the person who found a way for '06 to come back with an elegant place to stand. He was praised by receiving the position of Fan and rank in the position of Phra Maha Pha, Luang Por Wat Racha Oros. After flying to America in the middle of the Buddhist Lent in September 2015, I returned to the Dhammakaya temple on December 5, 2015. I left the temple far away, as ordered by '01, and after only 3 months, I returned. While I was there, '06 had no reputation at all. Because '01 did not announce '06's wrongdoings to anyone. When '06 returned, he received a certificate of rank, a position of monkhood, and was highly respected by the people of Dhammakaya temple. Without anyone knowing that '06 had committed a major wrongdoing, '01 had told him to go and not let him return to the Dhammakaya temple. And the person who helped find a way for '06 to return was '02. Even though '01 knew nothing about this. Looking at the situation, it is true that '02, the deputy abbot, had already betrayed '01, the abbot, since December 2015. Without caring that '06 had committed any wrongdoing that the law of karma considered a crime. And '06 embezzled the donated money that '01 had raised to use to build a pagoda for '02 in Kanchanaburi, totaling more than 700 million baht. This is a wrong view because '06 did not answer '01's question asking who '06 gave the embezzled money to, what it was used for, and where it went. The fact that '06 did not answer '01's question means that '06 chose not to talk to '01. Not to accept any advice or instruction from '01 at that time when '01 was the highest leader of Wat Phra Dhammakaya. The side of the merit-making subduer, continued 8. When '06 chose not to answer any questions, it meant that he did not accept advice from '01, did not accept that he had done anything wrong. Did not accept that embezzling donated property from the public for personal use was a violation of the second precept, adinadana, which is stealing property that the owner did not give. In terms of monastic discipline, it is considered a parayaka offense. However, '01 only chased '06 away from the temple, far away, not letting him come back. So that '06 would not embezzle donated property again if he were to stay at the Dhammakaya temple. Because when a person does not accept that taking donated property is a crime, he will find a way to do it again. There is no way to change his mind or change himself because he does not see it as any crime. In terms of the law of karma, he has already violated the second precept. In terms of monastic discipline, it is a parayaka offense. According to '06's qualifications, he has not been a monk since that time. However, '02 found a way for '06 to return and even gave him a certificate of appointment, which is equivalent to deceiving the abbot of Wat Racha Oros, who did not know what crime '06 had committed. To give '06 this status, By relying on the qualifications that include the word Fra Maha drive, it shows that O2 himself had a wrong view. Since that time, and no matter what reason O2 had for scooping O6 back, what O2 did at that time was a betrayal or disobeying the order of O1. The abbot or the leader of the suppression sector since then. That is, O2 thought that O6 was better than O1. And instead of helping O1 solve the problem by managing to prevent O6 from causing problems for O1's organization and group again, it turned out to be helping the thief have a chance to act like a thief again with O1's property and group. And it really happened, that is, O6 found a way to get revenge on O1 by using the criminal trial process to push O1 out of the position of abbot by causing a legal stain, without even having to go as far as investigating the guilt or making a judgment in court. Then he was able to pressure them to get an arrest warrant and to really have to resign from the position of abbot on the 10th of March 2560. O2 didn't know the truth why O1 chased O6 out of the temple and not let him return. Instead, he listened to O6, who was like a stubborn villain, who would never tell O2 the truth. If O2 knew the truth, he definitely wouldn't fall for O6's trick. But the problem is, O2 was so gullible that she believed O6's words without asking O1 for the truth. She still went to find a way to help O6 come back, which is a clear way to discredit O1. And O2 had no way of knowing that because of her own belief in him and additional information coming in 2567. Around O2's 72nd birthday, she knew that O2 had prayed to Luang Pu Sad and Grandma Chan, who had sixth sense, heard O2's silent prayer. She even came to pat O2 on the shoulder and asked, "Are you really going to do that? Do you really want that?" O2's prayer at that time was that O2 could preach to people who were beyond needy, or people who had no one to teach. No one wanted him anymore. Let O2 be able to subdue him, to put him under O2's guidance. When O2 saw that O6 was this kind of person, he thought it was his own good karma that he had prayed for. So he met him and was able to do this duty. He thought he would be able to subdue O6 and adjust O6 to be a good person, inviting him to do good deeds for Buddhism. And since many years after O1 had to escape the arrest warrant, he could not come to preach or bring any merit to the group. So he saw the events that happened at Wat Phra Dhammakaya, which seemed to be under the leadership of O2, with O6 as an advisor. And O6 would claim that he had proposed good projects, talked with O1 at the temple, and O1 approved them. Many new projects arose, and seeing the temple's executive committee cooperate in every new, major project. During the years 2018 to 2024 and the latest for the year 2025, all came from O2 believing that he had received special merit that O2 asked from Luang Pu Sad himself, and O6 was the one who was arranged by merit for O2 to try his skills. Therefore, it is worth thinking that O2 saw O6 as O2's merit and must let O6 stay and work in Buddhism. And in the past few years, it has clearly shown that O2 has done it because O2 must have seen that O6 has been very respectful and submissive to O2. And the big projects that have occurred have been seen to be very successful. It has become the result that makes O2 falsely confident in his own abilities. If anyone judges that O6 has done something wrong or deceived or is a worm, someone has heard O2 say that if O6 is a worm, O2 must be the worm's father. Such words reflect that O2's thinking has become wrong view because he only sees the result that praises O2 as successful, but does not see the result in terms of the law of karma that what will be the result. Because O2 does not have the Dhammakaya eye like O1, he could not see that the success of Wat Phra Dhammakaya that has appeared to the temple people in the world, in an era where O1 was not there to give orders, but had O6 as an advisor. Seeing the work being accepted and becoming greater easily, compared to the era when O1 invited the group to make merit, when there were only problems and obstacles. This will definitely cause O2 to be misled. And this misled caused O2 to believe O6 until he forgot or overlooked that O6 was the wrongdoer, the evil person who thought evil, spoke evil, and did evil as is normal for him, and did everything according to his normal deception. What happened therefore resulted in O2 leading O1's group to throw away all the merit to take the sin that resulted from O6's idea of inviting the temple executive committee to do various projects. While O6 merely claimed that he had talked to O1 and received approval to deceive the temple executive committee, because no one thought that anyone would dare to lie about this kind of thing. Dare to claim that O1 gave orders or approved something that was not true at all, without fear of any sin, as O6 has always done up until today. There is no cure if O2 does not stop associating with O6 and does not see his own faults and still acts as the head monk to lead the group instead of O1 until deciding not to close the case for O1. When there is an opportunity for up to 180 days during October 2023 to April 2024 just because he is afraid that if he helps O1 escape the case and is free, O1 will kick O2 out of the temple because O2 plays the stock market. Continued 9. This means that O2 only looked at his own benefit, fearing that O1 would be kicked out of the temple if he could help O1 escape the case, and did not look at the overall merit that O1 would be able to come out and lead the group to create great merits to the ultimate Dharma as quickly as possible. Therefore, O2's decision to do this immediately became a judgment to punish and do wrong to O1. Instead of gaining great merit in helping O1 be free to come out and bring merits to the group in the future, it was the greatest merit that O2 could have done alone. However, O2 chose not to do it, immediately becoming a sinful intention. The intention was not to let O1 be free from the case for the rest of his life without any stain. That is, even if the statute of limitations had expired, it would allow O1 to be free. But the court would not have cleared him of guilt. This was equal to letting this sin stick to O1 by O2's direct intention, because the prosecutor would not indict him anymore. And in reality, it was to imprison O1 so that he would not be free to bring merits to the suppression group anymore. O2 himself committed this sin all by himself. Just a fleeting thought that is certain that only O6 took the reason that was not the reason that O1 would chase someone out of the temple and poured it into O2's ear to trick O2 into believing that, just because O6 played the stock market, O1 would chase him out of the temple and not let him return. The fact that O2 believed only O6's words means that O2 had wrong views since then and continues to have wrong views until today, 2568. Going back to September 28, 2565, the great Dhammakaya Sitya was refined from O1 from far away, not at the temple, which was possible because O6 was not at the temple. Because O6 had a completely black soul that O6 could not refine and resolve at all, which was done many times, but could not be released because O6's heart was deeply inclined towards the dark side. Therefore, if O6 stayed at the temple, it would attract bad things, damages, and disasters. When O6 agreed not to stay at the temple, O1 practiced Dhammakaya meditation to fix the temple, and this has made the temple and most of the monks, novices, male and female lay devotees in the temple escape from the black sinful trend. The temple's executive committee has already established the right view. However, the correct understanding of O6's wrongdoings and the delusion in the minds of the large group that the temple's executive committee must tell the large group outside the inner and outer areas as O1, ordered with the utmost importance, has not yet been extended to the majority of the group. It is O1's greatest disappointment and sorrow that they do not dare to do it, Do not dare to tell the truth to the host outside the area because they do not dare to hurt O6's feelings. Simply because they are afraid that it will cause the devotees to lose faith, and in the future, there will be no one in the temple. After the entire temple was overwhelmed by the delusion from people pushing people to use the Zoom program that was not actually ordered by O1 since the beginning of 2021 and the whole year until the New Year of 2022 during the Dhammayatra in January. The whole month of O1 invited Luang Pu to distill and fix every point in the temple to become a place of merit again. But when the temple's executive committee did not do as promised, O1 announced the cancellation of the use of the Zoom system to make the children understand. Most of the group were correct that O1 was not a supporter or ordered to achieve any goals with Zoom at all. He did not order anything anymore. Instead, he gave fake advice, deceiving O1's children into believing that he had made merit by increasing the number of Zooms for O1, which became the result of the dark side karma. That created a dark side trend that dominated everyone's hearts in the entire temple, leaving no merit throughout 2564. But after the Dhammayatra in 2565, Luang Pu and O1 had distilled and resolved everything. All that was left was to distill and resolve the delusion from the hearts of the children who used Zoom, with the delusion that it belonged to O1. But the central administration of the temple, even though they knew the truth, did not explain it to everyone so that they understood correctly. This caused the dark side trend that arose from the delusion of Zoom system users to continue to occur, even though the system itself no longer had a dark side trend. The dark side trend continued to occur from users who were deluded into believing that Zoom belonged to O1, which obstructed and prevented that person's merit from being effective. There was no way to resolve this from other people or Dhammakaya knowledge, unless that person could reach the Dhammakaya within themselves. But that was impossible if that delusion was tightly gripping and multiplying. Merit did not have a channel. You will not be able to see the Dharma within. When you die, you will be in a water bag. As for the merit-making sites in both the 2000 Rai and 196 Rai temples, they have been refined again before the anniversary of Luang Pu Sad's birthday on October 10, 2022. This point tells everyone who reads it to know that anyone who makes merit at the temple during 2019 to 2021 will not gain any merit, but will receive the karma along with O6 and O1's secretary, who jointly wrote a deceiving sermon for everyone, saying that it was ordered by O1. Tuesday, November 15, 2022 at 5:32 a.m. Update number 3. The 11th merit-making pilgrimage for 2023 has already ended on Tuesday, January 31, 2023. I felt uncomfortable when listening to the sermon from the abbot, O2, who had the same symptoms as in 2021. I read the sermon that someone had written, but there are words that tell us that these are O6's words, written for O2 to read in the beginning. The way he spoke like a puppet in the beginning made us feel sorry, wondering why O2 let O6 lead him so much, control him so much, and there was no mention of O2's monk life, which led him to build up merit until he had the temple he has today, because O1, the temple that was built was successful because of O1 and the Dhammayatra project. It happened because of O1's idea, which O2's attitude was not O2, who on O1's birthday month, even at the beginning of January 2023, when O2 was still the same good person O2. But O2's attitude today. It's unbelievable that in just 2 weeks, when O2 brought O6 to discuss at the temple, O2 has changed so much. 2 weeks ago, Mongkorn only heard signals from O1 through songs that told of O1 suffering from O2's actions, who believed O6 again, since Monday, January 16, 2023. O2 brought O6 to the temple's executive meeting for O1's case the next day. Tuesday, January 17, 2023, there was a dismissal of one case connected to Mr. Suk. Wednesday, January 18, 2023, Teacher Joe said that 06 went to stand and announce will propose a project with 01 to bring 100,000 people to the temple per month. Continued 10. When seen in the candle lighting ceremony on Tuesday, January 31, 2023, it was clear that 02 had transformed into someone who was not one of 01's people, but referred to Luang Hu, grandma. In the group, not mentioning 01 by name, not praising or talking about him. It is thought-provoking how much 06 had brainwashed 02 about 01. To the point that 02 had chosen to cut 01 out of his heart, out of his brain, out of his life, and chosen to forget about the life that he had known 01, that he had respected and revered 01. That had been a great blessing for 01 himself, that had always been good, completely and without any regard. Mongkorn remembered that this symptom was the same as when he saw 02 in the Maka Buka ceremony in 2021, which was zoomed in on in a big way. Analysis: 02 had been made to become one of 06's people again in 2021. Which is dangerous to 02 himself, because cutting 01 out of 01's heart is like cutting off all of 01's merit. His entire life since he was ordained until today. What caused the story about the disagreement between 01 and 06 and 02 acting as a mediator? Whoever has not read the story, The Truth from the Dragon Hidden in the Body in 2018, all three parts, will never understand how evil 01 has been treated by 06 all along. Even today, releasing news and making people believe that 01 is in the temple is a way to deceive the devotees, the hosts, the merit leaders, creating a situation with the cooperation of 01's big secretary, who has the background as a female host who betrayed 01 just because she was blinded by the wealth of land and money, etc., relying on 01's trust in Ms. E and 01's big secretary. And they worked together to obstruct 01, but encouraged 06 to file a criminal case to frame 01 for a case and a warrant. Then they found a way to seize power so that 01 could not contact or order any of his children or any level in the group. Then they forged everything, making it look like 01 was in the temple in order to gain respect and worship so that people still believed in 01, to feed themselves and the third parties who did not come to build merit, but came to get involved in the temples and the group's assets for the convenience of the cheaters, using 06's desire to be the abbot as a victim. All of this is not slander, but is the truth that has already happened, and 01 has found a way to tell his children and the group all along, since the writing from Mongkorn Songkai in August 2018. Which immediately after it was spread to the people in the district, the unusual order came out in a dictatorial manner, saying that they were forbidden from reading, sharing, and associating with the person who sent this story. It can be said that all those who were creating merit were closed-minded, not allowed to receive or know. If it was not true, why would they be afraid of knowing? But he even forbade the person who sent this story from then on to the temple, clearly stating that this was the symptom of someone who actually committed the crime according to that story and was afraid that most of the children would know the truth. So they used their power and influence to prohibit them from reading or sharing. With concern from 01, who was worried that the creator of merit of 01's children would go astray because of being blocked from receiving this important news, they have been sending it in stages. All the time, to friends, children of Luang Por Dhammakaya, who have loved and respected 01 with all their hearts all along. They must know this truth in order to make a decision on whether or not to make merit with the temple in the future. Any decision should be based on sufficient information from both sides. A true wise child of Luang Por would not be careless or neglect the good intentions of a great friend who shared this story for us to know and investigate further before finding out later and then blaming why 01 never told 01's children anything like this because 01 had no chance to tell anything. And this is the only way to know why everyone never knew about these things. When the central office of the temple issued an order prohibiting reading or sharing, but in fact, the order was not from the temple administration, but from O1's only big secretary, who was a backbone cow. It was so hot that she couldn't stay and was afraid of being exposed. And will lose a huge financial benefit together with Ms. E, who ordered in the meeting with 5 monks named Fra Thap Tawi, Fra Lan Phone, the big secretary of O1, Fra Anu, Fra Thou Wan. Ordered that, do whatever you can, don't let O1 come out to have power again, since the 25th of November 2017 when they dealt with those who disagreed. Such as the person who sent the story of the truth of the famous temple from Mongkorn Sun Kai, not allowing them to enter the temple since the 26th of August 2018 and cutting off the way to send letters requesting to file a complaint against 7 monks in the temple from the Lai Worm group in September 2018. Until there was news in MGR Online on the 23rd of September 2018 that in the letter of the Lai Worm group there was only the name of the monk. No picture of the monk who requested to file a complaint, but the news had both the picture and the full name with the job position in the news report in detail. Which means that it was 06's side that only he dared to do this, which was to give all this information as news to the news agency because he had a plan to come back and destroy the Lai Worm group. Then on the 19th of October 2018, he planned to put magic potion in the drinking water for Kun Arifin. On the evening before the next day, when Kun Arifin had to give a statement to the DSI as the president of the Kun Yai Chan Foundation, Kun Arifin had a certain level of Dhamma knowledge. So she knew that she would definitely die the next day before going to the DSI. So she wrote a message signed as definition of the female Dhammakaya to the followers of the Chasing the Worms group to warn everyone that the worms were as fierce as a raging fire. Don't throw oil on the fire, it will definitely cause trouble because no one can stop them except the 2 monks. This warning message was issued the night before Kun Arifin died the next day. And she died before going to the DSI. Why did the worms have to get rid of Kun Arifin? It was because they wanted Kun Arifin to testify against Luang Por 01 for embezzlement in his capacity as the president of the Dhammakaya Foundation because they planned to close down both foundations. The assets and buildings of the Dhammakaya temple were distributed in these 2 foundations. If Luang Por 01 had someone confirm that he had embezzled the donations, they would be able to use this as an excuse to close down both foundations and seize all the assets to sell at auction. Continued 11. And the worms must have tried to ask Mr. Arifin to implicate O1 in order to achieve the goal of the plan to seize all the temple's assets like that. But Mr. Arifin, who has the subtle Dhammakaya, must have seen what was about to happen and they wanted to harm and destroy O1 by closing down both foundations and seizing the temple's assets including the temples that were in the possession of the 2 foundations and auctioning them off to claim that the money would be used to pay back the cooperative. When in fact the Dhammakaya temple did not have any part in the missing money at all because the part that Mr. Supa used to make merit with Luang Por 01, Mr. Supa had already returned to the cooperative as announced in the news. As for the large amount of money, tens of billions that disappeared from the cooperative during that time, it was in many other places, more than the part that was made merit with O1, which was only around 800 million baht or not more than 1 billion baht in total. But they found a way to seize both foundations, hoping to take all the assets of the Dhammakaya temple under these 2 foundations to pay back the cooperative, which has no reasonable reason or connection whatsoever. This reflects the behavior of the DSI officers, who may have collaborated with the group of the Worm Faction 06 and the Big Secretary of O1 in order to be able to share the temple's valuable assets with the group that co-conspired to oppress O1. according to the agreement since 2016 and 2017. When Section 44 was used to close the temple to oppress 01 from the position of abbot of Wat Phra Dhammakaya and was successful. That is, even if 01 could not be arrested, it would cause 01 to be removed from the position of abbot and have an arrest warrant. He would not be able to come and give orders to the temple, have any power, or preach to anyone again. In the beginning, even though 01 had not been found, after the temple was reopened in 2017 and 01 left the position of abbot, he still had the power to give orders, and cleared out the corrupt people from the temple by using the advice message, causing 06 to have to leave the temple in October 2017 after the Kathan ceremony. And 01's big secretary was ordered to meditate only in November 2017. But returned to the meeting to eliminate and cut off 01's power at the end of November 2017 and waited for 06 to return at the end of March 2018. 06 and 01's big secretary worked together to manage everything. Because after April 22, 2018, 01 could not give orders via messages anymore. Meaning, no matter what was written, it did not reach the person who wanted to give the order. Because he was betrayed by 01's big secretary who was blinded by lust, she followed Ms. E's orders without any gratitude for 01's kindness. When they had finished taking care of 01's orders, there was the true story of the famous temple from the dragon hidden in the body, who was 01, who reported the truth of what had happened. Sent to the children outside the area to know that 01 was wronged by someone. But the plan of 06 and the big secretary of 01, the traitor, is to issue a ban on people in the entire temple area from knowing, reading, or sharing the true story of the famous temple from Mankan Sun Kai that came out in August 2018. Also, they took care of the worm-chasing group by using the power of people in uniforms. They adjusted the attitude of the leader of the worm-chasing group until he disappeared from the group and was later found to have become a monk for 1 month, leaving the worm-chasing work without giving any reason. And someone secretly entered the worm-chasing group line, deleted everyone's names in the group, and closed the group as a complete and decisive dispersal of the enemy force of the worms in the temple. A source from the worm-chasing group knew from the temple meeting on the temple's annual Kathan robe offering day that night in early November 2018 that 06 was the leader of the meeting who gave a decisive order to eliminate anyone who disagreed with him or refused to accept him as the leader of the temple by decisive means. If anyone refused to leave, they had to die. And in just 1 month there was news in the temple that an announcement was posted around December 26, 2018, appointing 06 as the vice chairman of the temple's executive board. The position may be incorrect. The content clearly stated 06's name. The announcement clearly stated that he would serve for 1 year until December 2019. Later, it was clear that the donation money for the gold leaf to cover the dome of the Great Dhammakaya Sedia was 06's plan, and that the fake sermon was given by 01 but signed as someone by 01's secretary himself, in order to raise a huge amount of donations. In reality, at least 100 million baht was needed for each of the 7 monks who were found by the AMLO to have embezzled donations in their own departments. 06's plan was to have each monk testify that they had followed 01's orders, which would change their status from suspect to witness. But they would have to use money to protect themselves as witnesses, 100 million baht for each monk, so 7 monks would be 700 million baht. So they had to fabricate a new sermon inviting people to make merit, imitating 01, deceiving the temple people to make merit with the gold sheets of Siriraj. They took the merit and the old invitation words that 01 had previously given about the great Dhammakaya Sedia to copy and use to deceive the hosts and devotees, which gave enormous results. Some people who made merit went to make merit on the day before New Year's Eve 2018. In just 3 days, they overheard the treasurer talking that just from announcing the invitation to make merit, more than 1 billion baht in merit-making money had already come in. And on that single day, the day the people made merit went, more than 350 million baht came in. They talked that there were 3 more days until the new year. Try calculating how much money they would receive in donations from this merit making. So it's not strange that people saw, in addition to the monks going up to cover the dome of the great Dhammakaya Sitya, they also sprayed gold leaf on the Buddha statues along the slope, a total of 300,000 Buddha statues. That happened in January 2019, and Inside News said that near the end of January 2019, 06 secretly flew from America to contact the DSI. The money for the arrest of the 7 monks was used as witnesses to implicate 01 as the sole culprit because they were ordered to embezzle donated money from 01. For this reason, they planned to bring their group to the temple to search and arrest 01 in February 2019, causing 01 to foresee that they were going to arrest 01. This time, whether 01 was arrested or not, they would chase everyone out of the temple and close it down, so that they could manage the temple's assets and share them according to the agreement that had been pending since 2017 when Section 44 was used. This reason made 01 decide to sacrifice himself and leave the temple on February 2, 2019, by giving someone evidence that 01 had left the temple. Continued 12. To make sure 06 does not have to hire any officers to raid the temple and create a situation of raiding the temple like the costly ones in 2016 and 2017. And to make 06 easily gain the power to govern Wat Phra Dhammakaya without having to spend extra. And because 06 knew that some people might not accept him as a leader, he had to rely on the power and influence of 02, who the devotees accepted as inferior to only 01, and believed that 02 would strictly follow in 01's footsteps as he had always shown until that year. 2019, making everything go smoothly as if 01 was still in the temple but did not tell anyone, claiming that it was because 01 still had an arrest warrant. And anyone who provided shelter or hid would be prosecuted as well. He would not say that there was 01, and claimed that he would not call 01 Luang Por Dhammajayo, but would call him someone instead. But in reality, he later found out that it was the wish of the higher-up, and the temple had become the property of the higher-up, and the temple had become the property of the higher-up. By the lie of 06, who told the temple administration that 01 had agreed to give the temple and branches to the higher-up Kumari and agreed to divide the donated money 70 to 30 to pay off 01's old karmic debt, when in fact it was impossible because 01 had no old karmic debt with anyone and 01 had always told everyone that the temple and donated money did not belong to 01, not to any monks, but to the public. The monks only took care of the temple for the laity and to be a field of merit for the laity to accumulate merits. 01 could not sell the temple to anyone, or if anyone asked for a share of the donated money, not even a single baht could be given because it would be a sin. However, since the Temple Administration Committee and most of the district members since 2552 had listened to 06 in his capacity as the head monk during the meetings of the 3 ashrams, 06 would tell every monk and every person that there was no need to waste their time listening to the sermon from 01 at the Dream in Dream Wittaya kindergarten because 01 intended to teach the kindergarten children who are new to Dhamma. As a result, most of the district people did not listen to 01's sermons at all. Therefore, they did not hear what 01 said, especially about can't give the temple to anyone, can't share money with anyone who asks for it. Why? And it turned out that after 01 was charged with fleeing the arrest warrant, 06 was appointed as a board member of the temple in December 2018. Then, he started to have a sermon to raise funds and invite people to make new merits by signing up as someone. Later found out that it was because the higher-up Kumari didn't like hearing the name and didn't want to see O1's face in the temple. He even ordered every picture of O1 to be taken out of sight in every spot of the temple, as if preparing to welcome the visit of the higher-up Kumari since the beginning of 2019. Therefore, the cooperation between O6 and O1's big secretary to support giving the temple to the higher-up Kumari in exchange for the smooth running of big merit-making activities and having a lot of donations to the temple in order to have a 70% share with the higher-up has become a worldly benefit. And to prevent the benefits from leaking out or causing damage, we will try to protect the temple's reputation from being tarnished. If there is bad news or any violations of the temple's precepts from the monks in the temple that are inappropriate, we just collect them and fix them internally. Not letting the news leak out. Even the news about setting up a mining machine in a container at the Vihara Khat Core 32 in February 2023 was kept quiet and closed off, leaving no traces. It is different from the era when O1 was the leader of the merit-making side, who always had obstacles to do anything, but he always got through it. Therefore, what happened in this way in the temple is clear that they have been encroaching on O1 from the temple since February 2, 2019. After doing everything smoothly until 2021, and O6 was the representative who negotiated until this success was achieved, it is like receiving the royal command. There were witnesses who confirmed that O6 brought that command to the temple's executive committee meeting. That became an exchange that seemed good because in the past several years, there have been new projects in the temple that are bigger than the era when O1 invited them, and there was no opposition from anyone. It went smoothly and was highly praised. Many monks received ecclesiastical titles like never before. The news about O1 giving the temple to the higher being and sharing 70% of the benefits came through a new group of believers who were Dhammakaya temple members but were invited by the leader of the new group to set up a new group and set a rule prohibiting them from returning to make merit at the temple and its branches. Instead, they were to meditate according to the manual that the group leader was tricked into believing was from a monk in the temple who gave him the manual, claiming that it was a manual directly from O1. The person who would dare to claim that without fear of serious sin would be none other than the person who had this group tell the temple members who joined the group that O1 had given the temple and its branches to the higher being, which was O6, because they wanted to talk about how O6 was able to help negotiate for O1 to give the temple and its branches and share the assets with the higher being to solve the problem of obstructing the work of religion from those who were not successful because they did not get their share. They might have believed that turning enemies into friends by sharing the benefits would make everything go smoothly. If it were a worldly organization that had nothing to do with merit or sin, there would be no problem. But this is a temple, it is directly related to merit and sin. Doing that is like people who do not see the real heaven and hell because they do not have the eye to see the Dhamma and have not reached the Dhammakaya that has accurate knowledge and insight. It will not be seen whether the flow of merit or sin is arising from such and such actions. But at least as a person who studies Dhamma and knows the precepts, and if there is a sense of shame in committing sins and fear of the consequences of sins, one will be able to consider with reason that giving the donated money that was given to do Buddhist work to someone who came to ask for it but did not participate in any merit-making work and who has a background in taking the money received to do any sinful activities, which is breaking the 5 precepts, will become a sin against the temple. And focusing on doing merit-making work for the goal of giving a share to those who do not deserve it is immediately having dishonest intentions. As a result, any activity that is done becomes a sinful activity by default, even though it is a merit-making activity. But because O6 thinks that he is smart because he is a PhD. Continued 13. But deep down, the person is an extreme heretic. It is normal for his thoughts, words and actions to be unwholesome. This makes the group of children of O1 from O2 down not familiar with the thoughts and irrational reasons of this kind of person. When listening to him speak, they cannot keep up with him. But because they are afraid of being called stupider because they did not graduate with a PhD, they cannot keep up. They have to pretend to agree first. It becomes a matter of falling down the stairs and getting sinful and committing sins with O6 ever since. Especially O2, who could not keep up to the point that when a monk went to consult him that what O6 told him to do was not right and did not agree with O6. He got the answer from O2 to follow O6 and O6 wanted to give him whatever he wanted. And the temple people who always followed Luang Por O1 did not know what was happening in the temple. When the temple issued a central order on any matter, they believed that it came from O1. And because O1 taught that if you will go with me, no matter what, we must follow each other. Even if O1 is not there, if O2 is there, it is like being a representative of O1, making the temple people follow what O2 said. Starting from the monks in the temple and reaching out to the relatives and devotees. It turned out that everyone is following the central order that did not come from the real O1 since 2019. Therefore, the story of true knowledge from the hidden dragon, which means the real O1, who told him to come out and tell the children in the outer area of O1 and to let Kiantawan share every 3 days in every round, is the truth that the big secretary of O1 and O6 tried to hide from the temple people in both the outer and inner areas because it is the very truth. And the truth became clearer. Like when he got an inch, he wanted an eld when he saw the announcement from the chairman, appointing the strategic committee, effective from February 1, 2023 to December 31, 2023. Signed by O2, Deputy Abbot, appointing the strategic committee of the International Dhammakaya Council. Just distributed to the people outside the area on March 2, 2023, the content is as follows. Announcement of the President of the International Dhammakaya Council regarding the appointment of the Strategic Committee in order for the operations of the International Dhammakaya Council to proceed efficiently. It is deemed appropriate to appoint the Strategic Committee as follows. 1. Fra Fedchet Thatchuchivo, President of the Senior Advisory Council, Advisor 2. Fra Kru Sankarak Rangsarid Itutichitko, Abbot and Senior Advisory Council Member, Chairman 3. Fra Kru Palat Suwatanapothicin, Director of the Education Office, Vice Chairman, Samchai Thanawatu, and Senior Advisory Council Member 4. Fra Kru Thamathorarak Yanarako, Director of the International Kalyanamitra Office and Senior Advisory Board 5. Fra Kru Samit Thanan Punyananto, Director of the World Youth Development Institute. Member 6. Fra Thawanzik Chatasakuko, Director of the Resource Development Office. Member 7. Fra Maha Sudichai Sattacheo, Director of the Office of Faith and Sponsorship. Member and Secretary 8. Fra Sanatwang Wethawaso, Director of the Corporate Communication Office. Member 9. Fra Kru Sankarak Pramit Paramachuho, Director of the Dissemination Office, Member 10. Kru Mutita Finsunthorn, Head of the Secretariat Office, Office of Education, Member and Assistant Secretary. This committee shall have the following duties and powers. 1. Plan, coordinate, and support the work of various units of the organization, including evaluating results to create new merit leaders in a rapid and tangible manner. 2. Plan, coordinate, and support the work of various units of the organization, including evaluating results to expand the fundraising in a rapid and tangible manner. 3. Perform any other tasks as assigned by the chairman and the executive committee of the Dhammakaya Council. Let this committee be in the operating term from February 1 to December 31, 2023, announced on February 1, 2023. Signature, Fra Fet Thatchuchivo, acting on behalf of the president of the Dhammakaya Council. And immediately after this announcement was made, there was an announcement of the merit-making event on the first day of February 2023, which is the merit of building 24 Buddha statues at the Ko Kyu Chedi Sawan Island, causing the writer O1 to tell through the method of the dragon overlapping the body. There were different signs indicating before this announcement was made 1 week. The signal can be translated as follows: Monday, January 23, 2023. Why did O2 let O6 bring a third hand instead? O1. This is translated from the song lyrics that came into the heart of the person who truly knows that, because you know well that I exist. I existed before him, he must have known it wholeheartedly. Who loves you so much? If I could die instead of you, you must have known it in your heart. Give everything to each other, never thinking of leaving any heart for anyone else. Not enough. Still change your mind and think of something else. Let him stand in your heart. Let a third person come in instead, easily replace me, not looking back to see who I used to have. Instead, looking at a third person is good, to replace in my heart. Let someone who was once close to death do this to you. Meaning is O2 for sure that O6 is the third person, to replace O1. Tuesday, January 24, 2023 has lyrics that say, I ask you to love only me forever. I ask that your love block my sight. Let you only look at me, okay? Don't let you fall in love with anyone else but me. Meaning O1 wants to blow a spell. If it makes O2 not listen to O6, come and listen only to O1. Wednesday, January 25, 2023 is O1. O1 has loved O2 stubbornly for a long time. So I still don't accept that O2 loves O6 until I've forgotten O1 to this extent. The words, I've loved you for a long time, if anyone listens to this clip, they'll understand how much love. How much love, O1 tells it himself. Especially when talking about O2, Deputy Abbot tells the history of Luang Por Dhammakaya from childhood to adulthood. Minute 1.13.00 tells about getting to know O2, Luang Por Thata. https skeptical smiley face or youtube.be/xpapwasesk. After listening, you will understand why O1 loves and cares for O2 so much. But why did O2 forget O1's kindness so unbelievably? Please follow the next clip.
Raja สัมปติโตมาวิคัจฉันโตกัมมัสกาปุระธิมายาทิสายาปัจฉิมายาทิสายาอุตตรายาทิสายาทักขินายาทิสายาปุระธิมายานุทิสายาปัจฉิมายานุทิสายาอุตตรายานุทิสายาทักขินายานุทิสายาเอติมายาทิสายาอุปริมายาทิสายาสัพเพสัตตาสัพเพปานาสัพเพภูตาสัพเพบุคลาสัพเพอัตตาภาวะปาริยปันนาสัพพะอิทธิโยสัพเพปุริสาสัพเพอริยาสัพเพอนาริยาสัพเพเทวาสัพเพมนุสสาสัพเพวินิปาติกาอเวราโหตุอเภยปัจจาโหตุอานิฆาโหตุสุขีอัตตานังปริหารันตุทุกขามุจจันตุยถาละธาสัมปติโตมาวิคัจฉันโตกัมมัสกาพุทธังยาวะภาวะคาจาอโทยาวะภวิจิตโตสุมันตาจักขวาเลสุเยสัตตาปัทวิจาราอภิยาปัจจานิเวราจานิทุกขาจานุปัฏฐวาพุทธังยาวะภาวะคาจาอโทยาวะภวิจิตโตสุมันตาจักขวาเลสุเยสัตตาอุทธเกจาราอภิยาปัจจานิเวราจานิทุกขาจานุปัฏฐวาพุทธังยาวะภาวะคาจาอโทยาวะภวิจิตโตสุมันตาจักขวาเลสุเยสัตตาอากาเสจาราอภิยาปัจจานิเวราจา